Hi, thanks for tuning in. For the last leg of our trip out to see the national parks in the West, we went to the Grand Tetons. The drive from the Old Faithful Snow Lodge down to where we were staying in Jackson Hole was a short one, but full of beautiful scenery. On the way through Grand Teton National Park, we stopped at the Coulter Bay Visitor Center for our first sight and first pictures in the park together. We had a lunch there and then proceeded, after taking a few pictures, to go on down to Jackson Hole. While staying in Jackson Hole, we stayed at the lodge in Jackson Hole. The decor was really fun, had a lot of bears and things like that, and the inside was really nice. The first night we were in town, we went to the Bar J Ranch to have dinner on the recommendations of some friends, and had a blast listening to the cowboys singing and with all the tradition, and the food was great too. They really have a great buffet set up to handle a large crowd really fast. The next morning we took a float trip down the Snake River. We originally thought we'd signed up for one within Grand Teton National Park, but it turns out it was just outside of it. It was still really beautiful, and we got to see eagles and a few other animals kind of along the banks, but either way the weather was great. We spent some of the morning wandering around Jackson Hole as well and just seeing the sights, which was a fun day. The boys wanted to do the tram ride up the mountains, so we spent some time at an area that had the tram ride and also the trampoline jumping and things like that, and the kids had a great time just exploring around there. Afterwards we went over to explore the Jenny Lake region, did a little bit of wading in Jenny Lake and walked around. It was late evening, so we didn't have time to take in a regular trail, but we happened to walk up on a ship dock right before they were doing a last boat ride of the night, as basically a sunset cruise on Jenny Lake. So we were actually able to hop on board on late notice and took a really nice sunset lake tour unexpectedly around the lake. It was beautiful, and it got some really unique views of the mountains with the sun setting as we boated around the lake. The next day we were spending in Grand Teton National Park, largely hiking, so we started off at a visitor center to get a little information about the trailheads and finish up the junior ranger badges. We decided to take the Bradley Lake Trail, which goes on the Taggart Lake Trail for a bit and then keeps going on up to a higher lake. The trail was a little bit strenuous in spots, but really fun. It was supposed to have a piece of the trail that continued on past Bradley Lake, but we couldn't find where it went. It seemed to just stop and was under maintenance, so we turned back. But we did get to Bradley Lake and got to see that, and then saw glimpses of Taggart Lake on the way there and on the way back. We ended the trip with a quick stop at Moore Monroe and then flew home the next morning. All in all, a fantastic trip that I highly recommend. Thanks for watching.